Thanks for listening to today's episode for Medical Device Global Market Access by Pure Global. Today, we're examining a significant development from the UK's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, or MHRA. They've issued updated guidance as of May 20th, 2025, on the use of real-world data in clinical studies to support regulatory decisions, specifically for medicinal products. So, what exactly are we talking about? Real-world data, or RWD, refers to patient health status or healthcare delivery data collected outside traditional clinical studies. This includes electronic health records, disease registries, and even data from wearable devices. The MHRA's guidance focuses on how sponsors can plan randomized controlled trials primarily using these RWD sources to support regulatory decisions. This approach is gaining traction because it offers several advantages. Trials using RWD can potentially reduce the burden on patients and healthcare professionals. They are often considered for label changes for already approved products, including drug repurposing, where reduced monitoring might be justifiable. However, the use of RWD for investigating new products isn't ruled out. For sponsors, several key points emerge from the MHRA guideline. Firstly, the quality of the RWD and the robustness of the trial design are paramount. Evidence from well-designed RWD trials is generally considered no more or less valuable than that from traditional trials, provided the data is robust and the trial well-designed. The guidance specifically covers prospective randomized trials. It outlines considerations for UK clinical trial authorization, defining these studies as clinical trials of investigational medicinal products, or CTIMPs, if they are to take place in the UK. It also details trial design aspects, including the choice of endpoints and safety data requirements. Trials can be purely based on RWD, where patients are randomized and followed through routine practice. Or they can be hybrid, supplementing RWD with additional trial-specific data. Blinding of treatment allocation might be necessary, especially if primary endpoints are not sufficiently objective to reduce bias. Endpoints are a critical consideration. Objective endpoints routinely collected in RWD sources, like all-cause mortality, are ideal. However, the MHRA stresses that the completeness and validity of endpoint recording in electronic health records shouldn't be assumed, recommending feasibility studies to assess data capture before starting a trial. Safety monitoring remains crucial. All clinical trials must report serious adverse events. The MHRA allows for risk-proportionate approaches, especially for what it terms Type A trials. Those where the risk associated with the investigational medicinal product is considered no higher than that of standard medical care. This is particularly relevant when using products within their licensed indications or for established off-label uses supported by sufficient evidence. So when are RWD-based trials most suitable? They appear particularly promising for label changes, such as use in a new population, changes in dose or route of administration, or repurposing existing medications for new indications. From a regulatory perspective, the key is that the trial is designed to provide the evidence needed to answer the regulatory question. The source of the data, whether RWD, hybrid, or traditional, is less critical than the quality of the evidence generated. Existing regulatory guidance on trial requirements remains relevant. It's important to note that while the general principles in the guideline are broadly applicable, the sections on trial approval are currently specific to medicines. This is due to ongoing revisions in medical device regulations. We anticipate future versions of the guideline will incorporate the new framework for medical devices once it's developed. The MHRA actively encourages sponsors interested in using RWD to engage with them for advice on specific proposals, offering scientific advice meetings to discuss trial designs. If you need help with global market access, we encourage you to check out Pure Global. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.